Hi guys, today I'll show you how I made these earrings. We will need the following materials: black polymer clay, light green color, blue color, baby pink and yellow colors, round cutters of different sizes. This is a fun experiment. I wanted to use bright colors in this. Acrylic roller, slicer blade or tissue blade, some water in a spray bottle, wet dry sandpaper of 80 or 100 grit. Take a thin sheet of green clay and use the biggest size round cutter to make rounds. Make sure to use some paper below so the clay can be easily lifted when compared to using tile or glass surface. Now use the second largest round cutter to make a ring from earlier rounds. Just push the center clay out. Here is the ring which is sticking to the cutter. It is very useful in this technique. So I am placing this ring using the cutter on the base clay. Just use some needle tool to let that ring stick to the base. The reason I did this way is because if I directly cut the ring on the sticking surfaces like glass or tile, then it would be difficult to lift the clay from the surface as the ring shape would be distorted, particularly when we are using a softer clay. Maybe if you use somewhat harder clay, then I guess it would be easy. Adjust the shape if it's distorted. Repeating the same steps until the base clay is filled with random rings. Just by using a paper, I'm burnishing it slightly so the rings are firmly attached to the base. Now I took the blue clay to cut smaller circles. I used the next smaller size cutter to make a ring. Similarly, using the cutter, place all the rings over the base until it is filled. Trim the excess clay using the blade. I took the yellow clay and I used my small steel round cutter, which by the way I found very easy to use. And I followed the same steps. Repeating the same steps until the base clay is filled with yellow rings. You can see how nice the smaller rings are. Peel off the excess clay. I have another idea too. We can use an extruder to make the piping, but I think placing the piping over the base and forming a round neatly would require much effort and time. So I avoided that process. I took baby pink clay and I followed the same steps, making the rings and placing them over the base. You can cut the shapes out of this base too if you want, but I wanted to flatten it. I'm using the sandpaper. I'm spritzing some water as usual to prevent the sandpaper from sticking to the clay. So this is the sandpaper textured base. Now I am using somewhat bigger and longer cutters so the pattern will be visible in the final pieces. If you use a round cutter, I think you will get some evil eye kind of piece. That will also be cool. Peel off the excess clay and bake for 1 hour. I use silver hooks and silver jump rings in the final pieces. So this piece was also made using the same technique, but I just used a smaller ring and one smaller round in the middle. Thank you for watching. Let me know what you think of this fun experiment.